Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is G. You're watching Allastrology. And this is your November full moon. The November 5th full moon. Well, there it is. You see it on the screen. The end of a cycle. It's a closure. It's a completion. We finished something or someone. We've completed something. So there's an increase of emotions, increase of energy, increase of water for full moons. That's just the reality of it. And it is that influx of the water, it's that extra water, it's that more increase of emotions. Water equals emotions, where it creates this sort of I'm full. You got a glass in front of you, you pour, it gets full, and it starts spilling over the side and it flows out. That's kind of like the full moon energy. It's considered a big release. Full moon at 13 degrees in Taurus. So when you think about full moons and releases and Taurus energy, this is your values. We think of love and money and desires, but it's also food. What do you need in the picture to make your comforts? What gives you comfort? Your creature comforts. Some people have a favorite food, a favorite beverage, or maybe a few favorite foods, a few favorite beverages. Do you have a special soap for when you take a shower, your favorite toothpaste? Do you have favorite ingredients that you like to cook with? Do you have a particular meal that you have multiple times in the same week, using the leftovers, but you really like it, and so you kind of add this to it the next time? Or maybe it's the exact same damn thing, you're just reheating it, and you realize, oh my god, I do that like all the time. I really like that, right? Or maybe you're that one person who your spice in life is variety itself, and you like to switch things up. Taurus energy is all about, I don't want to say the same and being boring necessarily, but a bit resistant to change. It's a bit, it likes things. If things are working out and it's comfortable, huge Taurus keyword, I'm comfortable. And I know all humans in general, like, we don't want to rock the boat, right? We want to be comfortable. And there are those that, well, they live to like poke holes in the damn boat, even though they may be sitting in it as well. But Taurus is very cautious energy. It's cautious. And if it's got money in the bank and food on the table, it's got the bills paid, it's going to be like, no, we're not going to rock the boat. But once you start messing with its money, once you start messing with its values, its job, its income, what it desires, and what it considers mine. This is mine, right? This is mine, but this is my cedar, damn it. This is my cedar, right? And if somebody takes my cedar, it's like, who the hell told you could touch that? And then it's like, okay, the fight, we're on. You don't snatch that out of my hand. That's mine. And so Taurus energy can be a little tricky to deal with, even though it is loyal, right? It's loyal. It wants beauty and harmony, typically peace. That's why it doesn't want to rock the boat, you know? But if you piss it off, if you poke that bull, that comfortable bull sitting over there in the pasture, it's just minding its own business. It's just chewing away, eating some grass. It's chill. It doesn't want to mess. It doesn't give a damn what's going on over there. It's like, but I got everything I need right here. I got what I need right in front of me. So somebody comes along and switches that up and takes away the food, or literally starts throwing rocks, or whatever the hell, right? Just poking the bowl type of thing. Well, you know what they say, right? You mess with the bull. Yeah. And that's true, right? That's totally true. So when we look at this and we wonder, oh, what are we giving up? What are we done with? What are we releasing? Well, we think of banking, right? We think of, well, money in general and our jobs and our finances, because it's those things. It's the cash, right? It's the income. It is that which enables us to get more of what we consider I need in my life, part of the ingredients for the creature comforts. So, finances. So, when we think of like the dollar, right? We think of the dollar and what it's going through. And we know it's going through a lot because we see what silver and gold are going through. Silver, gold, and copper, I might add. Copper. Look at this. So you've got this grand earth trine, very strong grand earth trine for this full moon. So we've got the moon at 13 in Taurus, trining Fortuna at 13 in Virgo, jobs and the job data, the details. We know ever since there was a government shutdown, we're not getting reports from the government. And then in Capricorn, corporations, boss energy, authority figures. We've got Vega at 15 degrees. Powerful, powerful Vega. Okay, so we've got 15 and 13 and 13. So there's a very strong earth trine. The trine in earth is definitely some stable energy. But it's a full moon. So we're releasing, right, more jobs. And remember Fortuna talks about the highs and the lows, basically, kind of like the ocean's tides, where you're experiencing the highs and the lows of your own fortunes. All right. So it's more specific to you when it comes down to these degrees. Do you have objects at 13 degrees in the earth signs? And then, of course, Capricorn, the corporate world, the long-term career and goals, my material, tangible security, what I am building towards, what my goal is. This is what I'm building. Financial security, tangible financial security. So that's the big earth trine with this full moon, but that's not all. Then we back it up one more time and we see a kite in here. You see the kite, right? You can't miss it. I've got it clearly marked. It's a very strong kite, really strong kite. And the rules of the kite, without me going into too much detail about each piece of the kite, the rules of the kite are that the object that's at the very tip of the kite, normally if you ever flying a kite, this would be considered where you run the tail, right? You have a tail at the end of the kite. Well, the tail matters, and the left part of the kite matters, the right part of the kite matters, but it is the apex, it is the tip of the kite that matters the most. And why is that? Because that is where all the energy of that kite flows through, flows from, flows out of. So when there's a full moon and there's a flow going on, it's all flowing out through this 13-degree full moon in Taurus. So it's a mixture of Aries energy of starting something while at the same time being a full moon. 13 is the Mars degree. So Mars is quite impulsive, can be quite angry. It's a soldier, was born for war. But it usually wants to be out front. It wants to lead the way. And kite energy, at the end of the day, this is like soul level work. It's like your soul hasn't had this experience yet. This needs to happen. Oh, wonderful. Because that doesn't mean it's going to be birthday cakes, unicorns, balloons, and candles, and party buzzers and whistles and horns and sprinkles, and it doesn't mean it's going to be just lovely. It just means this is a serious ass thing that you need to do, and depending upon your choices, will depend upon the next step, right? Like what your next set of options will be on the table. This full moon, the values the values, the desires, the money, the income. And let's not forget the freaking planet Earth. It's an Earth sign. This is the Earth. Remember, Venus rules this. Food security. Food security. But securing our finances. Sure, it can be the military. Sure, it can be, okay, no more military actions, hopefully, on U.S. soil by their own freaking government. I'm hoping that 13 degrees, the end of a cycle, and possibly the end of the brash, untethered military actions that are being called down from up top to the people. Because, when you think about that kind of activity going on, you got to realize that's got to hurt as well. That's got to hurt economies in those locations too. Who the hell's going to go and visit if ICE is there arresting people regardless of who they are? So maybe this will be the money fighting back, because the little people can fight, and they can fight with their money. They can say, no, thank you. I'm done with that. And then the people who have the power, the people with the deep pockets, are like, oh shit, okay, so all of a sudden the public's kind of canceled us. Holy shit, we might want to make some changes here. So 13 degrees, that's it. And as far as an orb, you don't see anything in this chart. There's nothing at 10, 11, 12. There's nothing at 14, 15, 16, 17. So it's pretty much spot on. Usually when it's spot on like this, I just give a degree of 2 degrees for an orb. So we're going to give it the orb for this full moon, which is what that means is you're looking for Taurus energy in your natal birth chart. Look for your Taurus energy. You're looking to see if you have anything between 11 and 15 degrees of Taurus. If you do, that means you are releasing a value of yours. Yes, it can be, I'm releasing an income, a source of income. I'm releasing something I used to desire. I no longer desire this. It can be love. You follow? It can be, hey, I love that person. They are mine. That's my husband. That's my girlfriend. That's my other, right? Like it can be that energy. So it's a finishing, a completion, and we're done with it. And hopefully it's with our juvenile, immature, Martian type of ways. The ego that Mars brings, the impulsivity, a lot of pride. And, whenever I say that, I always hear Christy in my ear. And Christy's one of the viewers. And she always says, well, pride's not a bad thing. No, pride isn't a bad thing. It's good to have some pride, but it's the untethered pride, especially the Mars energy, which is a tool. If we don't keep it in check, if we're not aware of our own Martian ways and ego and energy and pride, then it can get really puffed up and out of control. And that's the little piece right there, right? So with that said, I do want to also add one last thing. And that is Mars is big on freedom. It's big on freedom. It's big on being able to do what I want to do. It is bodily autonomy, right? So hopefully this full moon, if you're releasing something that is independent, an independent value, an independent action, hopefully not your independence. Hopefully not that, right? Right. We don't want that for anybody. Because if we're saying it's okay for somebody, then that means it's okay for everybody. It's not either or. It doesn't work that way. That goes against the law of energy. It just doesn't work that way. Only in our little brain that is unaware does it work that way. So we want to focus that when we have full moons, especially if we have something in those degrees, 11 to 15 of Taurus, that we are utilizing the energy of shared values. I'm going to release this thing that I really held on tightly to, that I was really attached to and bonded to, this thing that I wouldn't budge. I was very stubborn. And Taurus energy can be a little dangerous, you know. It's Venus, and when you have a wicked Venus, like when we have a wicked Venus is when she goes dark, right? And whenever if Venus is a dark Venus, oh, it's not good. You know, you can see a dark Venus in a lot of really evil people in their charts in history. And because the desire factor becomes so strong, it overrides everything. They become the bull with the red eyes, that all they see is red in their rage and their anger and their desire. What I want, I must have, right? And so hopefully with the release, hopefully it's our juvenile ways and not seeing that part of ourself and finally seeing it and realizing I'm so holding on so tightly to what I want that I am forgetting and I am blinded. I am not seeing to our I'm not seeing our shared values, our commonalities, and what bonds us as human beings.